According to the U.S. Postal Service, mail carriers are tasked with delivering more than 162 million pieces of mail nationwide every single day. Oftentimes, they're a familiar, even friendly face in our neighborhoods. But in 2022, nearly 500 mail carriers were robbed on their routes.
And the data shows in 2023 that number is on track to be even higher. And if mail carriers aren't safe, neither is your mail.
Reporter Heather Graf explains the delivery danger and the call for change.
This surveillance video out of Memphis, Tennessee is just one example. And another in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh my God, here. Yes, come along, here.
Mail carriers being robbed, often at gunpoint.
Sorry, just go, no, please, no, please.
Across the country, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service has issued wanted posters and alerts about these violent crimes. And agency data provided in response to our Freedom of Information Act request shows the surge from 153 mail carrier robberies nationwide in 2020 to more than triple that, 471 robberies in 2022.
We've seen a drastic change.
Brian Renfro is president of the National Association of Letter Carriers that represents thousands of men and women who he says now fear their job is making them a target.
It breaks my heart, but infuriates me at the same time. Beyond the physical toll, there's certainly an emotional toll. There's a mental stress that occurs with these.
Why are letter carriers being targeted? What are these thieves after?
In the majority of cases, not all, but the majority that we see, it's about gaining access to the mail. Lots of criminal organizations developed elaborate check-washing schemes
to access more mail more quickly. The U.S. Postal Service has said criminals are specifically targeting letter carriers' master keys, known as arrow keys, which can then be used to open these blue collection boxes, along with cluster mailboxes common in apartment and townhome communities. And the USPS reports an increase in high-volume thefts from those mail receptacles, with more than 38,000 such incidents in fiscal year 2022. For instance, this theft caught on camera in Charlotte, North Carolina.
That could very well be, my mail, or that could be your mail. It could be anyone's mail.
We've also learned mail carrier robberies resulted in 406 stolen arrow keys in 2022, and just 74 of those keys were recovered.
I mean, these keys are on the dark web for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a key.
That's Postmaster General Louis DeJoy talking about the stolen arrow keys during a May 2023 hearing on Capitol Hill.
The problem is getting more serious.
And lawmakers pressing DeJoy on the USPS response.
I'm concerned about the thousands of dollars that a single family could lose if a check is stolen, and oftentimes is. And I'm concerned about the safety of our hardworking postal carriers by senseless criminals.
The Postmaster General then described plans for expanded crime prevention measures under a new initiative known as Project Safe Delivery. It includes the rollout of 12,000 high-security blue collection boxes, plus 49,000 electronic locks with double validation systems in select cities, as the USPS works to replace what it now calls antiquated arrow key locks.
Unfortunately, there's not a single solution that fixes this.
Renfro says the NALC does support the use of technology to help, but he knows the beefed-up boxes and locks won't happen everywhere overnight.
It's a big country. The Postal Service has a vast network that goes everywhere.
And though the USPS declined our request for an interview and wouldn't answer questions about the project's timeline or scope, DeJoy himself, in that congressional hearing, said this.
The quantity of locations that we have boxes is in the millions. So this is a several-year project.
Slow progress that's led workers to begin holding rallies saying enough is enough. This one in Chicago, after a mail carrier there was shot and injured during a robbery in August.
Enough is enough.
And a few weeks later in Cincinnati.
He saw me and came after me, attacked me, grabbed me by the neck.
Where letter carriers called for better protection, policing, prosecution, and public awareness.
In a lot of ways, it's like turning a big ship.
Renfro hoping all of those actions combined could make a difference.
Do you worry that it will get worse before it gets better?
I worry every day that it will get worse. It gives us a sense of urgency. We simply ask that if you're out there and you're a postal customer, just look out for us too. If you see something out of the ordinary, don't hesitate to call local law enforcement and let them know.
In a statement, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service told us these crimes are a top priority, noting that armed robbery of a postal employee is a federal crime punishable by up to 25 years in prison. And as part of Project Safe Delivery, the agency said it's also conducting periods of intensive operations and surveillance in different cities, working with local, state, and federal partners. The inspection service cited Chicago and Washington, D.C. as two of the first areas where those targeted efforts took place in 2023. Reporting in Washington, I'm Heather Graf.